Howdy folks, this is Mike Lane from Have Belt Will Travel with just a little video going through some basic concepts of training. Really, we're talking about the foundation of a good training program, and that's going to start with really some research that came from Hans Selye and what's known as the general adaptation to stress. This is going to be something you're applying to anything you're doing, whether we're talking about lifting weights, we're talking about running, or we're talking about drinking too much on the weekends. In that we're going to start off with a baseline level of fitness. So on the left side, we have whatever ability we're talking about. This could be your strength, this could be your endurance, this could be your flexibility, and so on. And then on our x-axis, we have what's known as time. So we're going to initially start with a certain amount of ability. Now when we apply stress to ourselves, meaning we go and lift weights, we're going to acutely decrease that ability. And this itself, that is the stress. Now, once we've applied this stress, now we're going to put ourselves where we're resisting it, but then we're going to give ourselves time for us to compensate. So we're going to recover and come back up to that baseline level of ability. And then hopefully, if we do this appropriately, we're going to have what's known as supercompensation. So we're going to have increased our performance level beyond that which it was before. Now, in order for this to occur, whether we're talking about building muscle from resistance training, we're talking about enhancing our cardiovascular system due to aerobic training, we're always going to need time, okay? So the body is always right, and while we're going through with any of these training programs that we apply or follow that we find from someone online, we're simply following this basic schema, which is whatever tissues we're stressing, we're going to have an acute decrease in performance. Anyone that's lifted weights heavy knows at the end of the workout, they're not as strong as they started. And the next day after, especially depending on the level of soreness, they're definitely still not as strong. But after possibly 3 or 4 days, we're going to find ourselves above those previous levels. And this is never so much a hard and fast rule as far as the time. This is all going to be relative from one individual to another. But this is where you need to follow your own performance and see how you are in fact recovering from your training so that once again you can apply yourself some stress, you have your resistance, and then we have our compensation, and we're going to keep moving onwards and upwards until hopefully we're going to reach whatever goal we're aspiring to. So, the basic concept here is we're just simply talking about stimulus, resistance, or essentially stimulus and response, in that the body is going to get better at whatever stressor we apply. This is a basic concept, but people can sometimes forget this with their own training programs, in that they apply stress far too frequently, so that they're not going to fully be able to recover, and they're not going to have a heightened performance. Or they don't keep applying very similar stressors, meaning we're using the same exercises, we're going to be utilizing the same type of loading parameters, that we're going to be enhancing one specific area. If every single workout we do is just a random number generator, we're never going to apply stress frequently enough that we're going to be able to keep and capitalize on this incremental gain. Whereas if we literally do the same workout day after day after day after day, that's where we can risk throwing ourselves down into what would be overreaching and possibly eventually overtraining. So, ask yourself at the end of the day, am I applying enough stress to disrupt my basic level, also known as your homeostasis, what your body's trying to hold on to? From there, am I giving myself enough time so that I'm going to be able to recover from the stress that I'm applying? And if you can answer those two questions, you've got a good foundational piece of the puzzle that you're going to be able to answer. So, thanks for taking a moment to watch. I hope this has been useful, and you guys have yourselves a great day. Bye-bye.